and he could even potentially take over that closing role.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I am your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today we're going to be asking the question, will your Toronto Blue Jays trade or sign for a bullpen arm? But before we get into that, guys, if you are enjoying this channel, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And also, we are just a couple days right now from announcing that Blue Jays jersey winner. If you want to be entered, Today Jays is the Monkey Knife Fight code. Your first deposit, your first bet, and you are now entered to win a Blue Jays jersey. That's going to be announced on opening day. Okay, so obviously, man, we made that big signing. We did it. It was Kirby Yates. I was so happy with this. I thought that this was one of the most underrated and best signings of this offseason. $5.5 million.
Agreed.
He goes down. This means that we're dealing with a bit of a deficit. So, first question to you is, do you think we even should go out and get a guy? Or are the guys that we have right now, do you think that they're all good enough?
No, I'm going to be honest. I think they're okay. I think they have upside to be an okay rotation. Look, our rotation last year in the AL was one of the worst, actually. We started out really good, became one of the worst. Now, not saying that there's going to be anyone stepping up. I think for sure there's going to be someone stepping up this year. However, you can never, ever have enough pitching, and that's exactly why we got Kirby Yates in the first place, because you can never have enough pitching. So I think absolutely you're going to see the Blue Jays management. I predicted you're going to see somewhere, whether it be before the trade deadline, they're going to sign some free agents. There's a lot of free agents still out there, and a trade at the deadline, that could be a question that could be answered when we get there, because there might be some teams that are selling, so maybe some breakout players that we don't even see yet.
Right. Well, I felt like I got lulled into a false sense of confidence with this bullpen because we got off to such a hot start last year. But when I was evaluating them today, actually, I was looking at it and I'm like, damn, like we have a lot of guys who are either unproven or who overperformed. Romano, for instance, he's only had 14 good innings of baseball. He's only pitched 30 innings in the major leagues, and his FIP last year was far higher than his ERA. Granted, I really think that he's going to be a good player.
Yes, I do think so as well. Who else do you have as well that kind of
Dolis right now? Obviously, he wasn't in the majors for a long time. He came back and he was dominant last year. Granted, his FIP was higher than his ERA by about double. AJ Cole had an exceptional year for himself last year, where he's typically been a 4.5 ERA guy. Same with Tyler Chatwood. Trent Thornton, he was a starter. I do have high hopes for Trent Thornton because I think he did that starting role. He had like a high 4. I'm hoping that when he steps into the bullpen and can give us 1 or 2 innings, that, you know, maybe he can get through those guys.
And there was a lot of pressure on Trent Thornton. Like in 2019, he was the only reliable guy. So someone getting called and asked him, hey, now you're the ace of the staff. It's like, oh God, you know, it's
like holy shit.
Oh my God, there's so much pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure right now. And speaking of pressure, man, it's like there's a lot of pressure on somebody like Romano and Dolis. And I think they stepped into this year being like, hey, okay, we got Kirby Yates, man. Yeah. This guy had 40 plus saves in 2019. We're good. But now the pressure is on, and we're looking to them to make that next step up. So I do think right now that these guys will take the next step, that they will be okay. I like Dolis and I like Romano, but I still think that yes, we should go out and get a guy, in whether it be through trade or free agency. So do you have any notable names that you're going to be looking for potentially?
Yes. I do have one guy that I know I'm going to leave you the one guy that we talked about. I'll leave you the one guy that we're talking about. Yeah. Everyone's like, we're like, oh, it's definitely this guy coming first. No, actually, curveball. It's David Robertson. He's 35 years old. He's played 12 years in the major leagues. Woo. Now, he didn't play in 2020, but in 18 and 19, also, I'm going to say he's a free agent. He's a free agent.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So in 18 and 19 with New York and Philly, he had a 3.42 ERA and a FIP lower than that at 3.24.
Oh,
so very, very good. He's a nice depth piece option, and he can strike people out at 11.9 strikeouts per 9, and he's only worth his market value around $4.7 million. Yeah. So he's really kind of cheap out there right now, especially for a guy a veteran 35-year-old like David Robertson can come and help and kind of lengthen that bullpen a little.
Well, and that's somebody who, when you look back at those years, I'm like, okay, I think I can trust you to get that done. Another guy, somebody that you're leaving for me, and you guys have kind of been DMing and asking about, Shane Greene. He's 32 years old right now, and he's had two really nice years in 2020 and 2019. So in 2019, a 2.3 ERA, and in 2020, a 2.6. That's super good. And that's somebody who at age 32, I'm like, okay, shouldn't be any sign of regression right now. He can step in and he could even potentially take over that closing role. He's gotten the saves before. He's been in that high pressure situation. And I think just having another guy there who's done that closing role, who's been there and who's pitched in the major leagues would not only just benefit the team, but it also benefit the confidence level of a Romano and of a Dolis. And it's like, okay, you know what? We also have this guy coming in and he can help us out.
And he's a veteran president who's obviously done it before. Shane Greene did it with Atlanta. And Atlanta, we all know how well they did. Their lineup's amazing. Their pitching staff's, I would say, a little bit better than ours. But their bullpen isn't anything spectacular out of the ordinary, and neither is ours. So Shane Greene will really give us that anchor as well. Another guy who has some closing experience. This guy's kind of going under the radar, and that's Jeremy Jeffress. And he pitched for the Chicago Cubs last year and actually racked up 8 saves. Last year, he actually had a great year in 22 games, a 1.54 ERA.
Wow.
Really good in the back half of that bullpen. I think that's what's driving up his market value a little bit because he did so well.
Well, and 8 saves is a lot in that shortened season.
Exactly. And he had his market value is $7.1 million.
All right.
So it's a little bit more. I don't think he's going to get that just because nobody is actually like going after him. I think that market value by Sport
Track.
Yes, that place. I think they're basing it based off of people who should be signed with that type of numbers. But it's the season's about to begin. Like your market value is going to be dropped. And I think he'd be a nice, easy pickup. Just again, more depth.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, like that's an exceptional number last year. 8 saves and like 1.5 ERA. Like that's really, really good. So I don't think he's going to get that 7.1, especially when it starts. But some team will snatch him up eventually. How old is he again?
He is 33.
Okay. I mean, I really like that, bro.
Yeah.
And then finally, one dude, for me anyways, that another guy that you guys have been asking about is Osuna. Now, we know that Osuna is an elite player. There's no question in his abilities. And I think that he is going to be picked up by a team. But we also got to keep in mind, this is the same thing that we just got in Kirby Yates. It's a really talented guy who got hurt really badly last year. I don't think that any, like the team and the ownership and the management want to spend that sort of money on a guy like this right now after we just lost out on that gamble with Kirby Yates. I think we want somebody who's going to be, for sure healthy and coming in and feeling good. And also, there's just a bad, we've had a bad relationship with him.
Yeah.
I think we got rid of him. It didn't end well.
I think immediately when I hear Roberto Osuna, it's like, in my mind, that's an immediate X, because who are the people that got rid of Roberto Osuna?
Yes.
Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro got rid of him because of what he did. And I don't think they're going to be like, hey, Roberto, so remember when we actually traded you because of your domestic violence? You want to come back and play for us? It's like, as much as it would be ideal, that factor of that conversation is never going to happen.
I agree, man. I feel like it would just always be a bad temperament going on between him and the management. And yes, I do agree. People can be rehabilitated and stuff. And I'm not going to hold him to that for the rest of his life. Obviously, it was a bad decision, but not getting into that. What I am saying, though, is I don't think it's water under the bridge for this management. And I think that from also, too, Osuna's standpoint, he'd probably rather go to another team.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to, and especially because there's questions and again, a lot of Blue Jays fans feel this way where it's like, do you yes, he's a good player, but do you even want this guy back?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not, he comes out of the bullpen and I'm in the stands. I'm not going to cheer for him.
Yeah.
I'm straight up going to be like, I hate you.
We had a bad relationship.
Bad.
For sure. So I know that you had a guy internally, potentially. Tell me about that. So this is kind of the last resort if we don't get it. Cause I think we're we're both, the thesis of this video is, yes, we're going to go do it. But if we don't, this is the backup plan.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go and get a free agent trade, again, later down the line. But if we don't, for some reason, maybe we're just like our money situation's not working out or whatever reason, maybe negotiations, whatever. There's a guy internally that's made splashes in spring training, and that is Anthony Castro. We actually did pick this guy up off waivers in the offseason. So in a way, we did go out and get some relief pitching. He's 25 years old from the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, very, very young. He's only had 1 year, but that year does not matter because it's one game or 1 or 2 games. It doesn't even freaking matter. No. But his minor league numbers are incredible at 3.56 ERA, a whip of 1.3, which is, I mean, whatever. It's minors. I don't care. He's not a big strikeout guy, but this spring he's been absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I've liked him this spring,
absolutely incredible. 8.1 innings pitched and an ERA of 1.08. Like literally remarkable, and his whip is even better at 0.6, and his strikeouts per 9, 16.2.
Wow, okay,
16.2.
And that's what you want to see for a closer for sure. Is you want them to K these guys. You don't want people getting on base or even putting the ball in play. It's like I'm just like get him out and let's go home.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's going to become a closer, but I'm saying more he's going to be an option in the bullpen.
I would hope so, man. From what I've seen this spring and the youth and everything like that, I think that he should at least get a shot. Even if we do go out and get another guy, I think that hopefully this guy, if he does well in the minors, can get brought up at some point and then make the team. But there you have it, guys. I think we are definitely saying for sure, you're putting it down right now, we're getting a guy.
For sure, man.
I think for sure too, dude. If there was anything, like I know we've talked about going out and trading for like, another starting pitcher or doing whatever. I think this is super low risk. This is super, it's not a big commitment monetarily speaking. So I say we will 1000% at some point this season go out, get a bullpen arm.
Exactly. Guys, what do you think about going out and getting relief pitching? Do you guys want to? You better do, because the Blue Jays need it in the back half. So let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, guys, and you can check us out on Spotify, Breaker, Anchor, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. Also, please make sure to like and subscribe if you are enjoying these videos. And 2, you can check us out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're always popping off on there, and Relevant. We have a great Relevant chat going. We go live on there roughly once a week. Usually we're a little intoxicated, but we answer all of your questions.
I think we've been every time intoxicated. Is there a time we've ever been sober?
Well, I'm trying to get our public image up, man.
I know, no blame it. I want to be intoxicated. That's what I look forward to.
I guess that is kind of the brand.
Yeah,
so definitely make sure to check us out on there. And also, too, $3 a month to become a Patreon member. And you can call into the show literally on my cell phone, and we will answer your question on our Wine Unwinds, which come out on Fridays.
Absolutely. And guys, thank you so much for watching.
And go Jays, go.